Howdy racers, how's it going? Welcome back to Achievement Man, where I try to complete every World of Warcraft achievement from a fresh account. I just got back from my racing tour of the Dragon Isles, and look at that. My interview is coming on TV right now. Let's give it a watch so you can see how I became the Dragon Riding King.
Hello, this is Marco with ESPN 47 Azeroth. I'm here today with Hope, who just completed the Advanced Dragon Racing Circuit, in which 9 and 10 racers typically die while attempting, and the 9 and 10 that do survive never finish. So Hope, tell me, how did you get into such a dangerous sport?
Well, it all started when I got my trusty Drake. He's an epic, mighty beast capable of soaring through the Dragon Isles, and his name is Jonathan. He and I bonded immediately. I knew he and I wanted to achieve great things together. So we decided to take on the challenge of ascending every single peak in the Dragon Isles. Through the blistering cold and the epic storms, we managed to achieve this goal, planting banners on every single one. But we were still itching for a thrill. So he and I decided to do a little bit of racing. I enrolled in some dragon racing classes to learn the ropes, and my first classes were in the Waking Shores. The whole concept of dragon racing seemed pretty easy to me and Jonathan. All you have to do is fly around a little course, fly through these little circles, and get back to the beginning. You get to do that in a certain amount of time, but what's so hard about that? I raced the first few easy little races around the Waking Shores, and I easily cleared bronze, silver, and gold difficulties for every track. Next up, I moved on to the Ohn'ahran Plains, and due to how well I did previously, I was allowed to skip some of the tracks, but this would bite me later. But back then, I didn't know any better, so I ripped through all the races, I got the awards I needed, and then I moved on to the Azure Span.
But first, a word from Maruk Poaching Services, one of today's sponsors.
Are you feeling down about no daily world quest? Feeling too much freedom in Dragonflight? Scared to play another game to fill the void Covenant grinds once filled? Well, here at Maruk Poaching Services, we can fill that void. Come complete grand hunts with us. For a whole 15 rep per hunt, you too can kill defenseless wildlife. Get a pet dog or bird. Give them colors. And kill lots of local wildlife. Don't be upset like this guy. Become a hunt master today.
Now back with Hope. When we left off, you were taking classes to learn how to dragon ride.
Yes, that's correct. Up next was the Azure Span. I was able to knock out these classes pretty easily as well, completing all of the golds on the normal races. Then I moved on to Thaldraszus, which held the final classes before I could compete in the advanced circuit. And this is where I met him. I don't know what his name was. I barely even knew what he looked like. All I knew about him was that he had a black proto-drake week 1 of the expansion. In my head, I called him Clarence. He was clearly a master dragon rider. I saw him flying and competing in courses, and he was magnificent. I knew I had to be better than Clarence. Thaldraszus did not offer me much challenge. I completed those courses with no issue as well. Overall, the training courses are pretty easy. There's speed boosts along the way, very large completion times, very easy to knock out.
Okay, so you completed the basic courses, got gold and everything, and then what? Did you jump into the races right away? Did you practice at all?
I jumped right in because I'm a gamer. I slammed off to the Waking Shores to begin the advanced circuit. These are the hardest races around, and competing with them would give me the crown.
Before you continue, let's hear from the Waking Shores Rapid Tours, who are also sponsoring this segment.
Fun for the whole family. The Waking Shores Rapid Tours give you a unique experience to see the wildlife of the Dragon Isles. We provide you with a camera, a life jacket, and a tour guide. If you get good enough picture, we may even pay you for it. See live dragons up close and personal in all 4 regions of the Dragon Isles. Disclaimer, we are not responsible for any maimings, decapitations, or other bodily harm on a Rapids ride. We suggest all tourists come fully armored and are at least age 8. Waiver must be signed before takeoff, forfeiting your right to legal action if anything happens on the tour. So what are you waiting for? Come on down today!
So you were saying, you were about to start the advanced courses?
Yep, I started my journey through the 4 zones, beginning with the Waking Shores. Those advanced courses are certainly more challenging. For starters, you get no speed boost, and you have to rely on your dragon speed alone. Secondly, there are hazards that can end you or your dragon's existence. But me and Jonathan had to become dragon racers. I remember the whole way, Clarence was right there, doing the courses as I went along. I was too nervous to talk to him, merely observing him in action. He was magnificent. I set out on my first advanced course not knowing what to expect. They're all time-based, so I'm not really racing anybody, only racing to beat a time. My first time trying the first race, I came slightly short on time. I had to bond with Jonathan a little bit more and know exactly when to hit that speed boost for the perfect time. After another try, we got it. Our first advanced course completed with gold time. One down, many more to go. I began to cruise around the zone, going race to race, knocking out gold times left and right. There were some courses that gave me trouble, there were some that were easy, some I had to do a few times, but overall the Waking Shores was mostly a breeze, an easy warm-up into this advanced circuit. Next, I moved on to Ohn'ahran Plains. Ohn'ahran Plains certainly marked an uptick in difficulty, but so far me and Jonathan have achieved gold on every race. It has not been that challenging for us, and in Ohn'ahran Plains it was no different. We knocked out all of the golds with little to no issues whatsoever. Azure Span was up next. I arrived and I saw Clarence again. I was still too scared to ask him his name. I would just wave and walk on casually. He'd wave back, but to me, he was basically a superhero at this point with that awesome black drake. When I failed one of the courses, he stuck around to cheer me on so I could complete the gold time. It was magical. And with his buff of positivity, I completed the Azure Span with all golds. I knew the next time I saw him, I'd finally ask for his name.
Before we finish up the story, let's hear from our last sponsor, Dragon Isles Killing Squad.
Do you have living things you want to no longer be that way? Have you ever seen an orc picking a flower and wished, wow, I wish that guy was dead? Well, reach out to the Dragon Isles Killing Squad. We have hitmen in the Waking Shores, Ohn'ahran Plains, Azure Span, and Thaldraszus, waiting to take out your targets. We're experienced in taking out both wildlife and sentient beings. Our assassins are well trained in the deletion of any horde or alliance, so come find us today.
And we're back with Hope, who is finishing telling us his story. Please continue.
I moved on to the final stretch of the circuit, Thaldraszus. And the first track I get to, who do I see but Clarence already on the course. He is such a dedicated racer, so I didn't want to interrupt him. I just watched from afar, waiting until I could ask for his name when the unimaginable happened. Going at high speeds, his dragon hit some of the rocks, and they fell. They fell far. I raced down in an attempt to help in any way that I could, but it was too late. Clarence lay dead. At that point, I was so scared to continue, to be honest. He was great. Or so I thought. I checked his body for identification so I could alert the proper authorities of his death. And then I saw his racing times. All bronze, never even attempted the advanced courses. In that case, I know I can do this. I hopped on Jonathan, left his corpse rotting, and we were off. Each race was knocked out with some challenge, but I managed to get gold on each one. I slowly worked my way around the zone, and at long last, I completed the circuit. But wait, something was wrong. Apparently I didn't complete the circuit. I was in fact missing one race. But how is this possible? I thought I completed all of the races. That's how I got to this point where I completed all of the quests. Well, when they let me skip ahead in Ohn'ahran Plains, it didn't mark the race I skipped as completed gold. So a basic beginner baby race was all that stood between me and glory. I sailed over there at max speed and knocked that course out of the park, achieving gold in every single race in the Dragon Isles on both normal and advanced difficulties. But there was no fanfare. Not much joy at all, because the friends I made along the way, in my head, would never be there to celebrate it. But I did claim the prize money.
And what did you do with that prize money?
Oh well, I flayed my dragon and replaced his skin with green skin. Then I removed every horn and spike sticking out of his skin on his body, which were black, and I drilled some white ones in instead. Now he looks real neat.
Oh, okay then. Well, that was Hope, the latest Dragon Racing Circuit completionist. Thank you for tuning in. This is Mirka with ESPN 47.
And that's how I did it. I became the Dragon Riding King, and I managed to shoehorn in a bunch of other achievements along the way. If you liked this harrowing tale, please demolish the like button and obliterate that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it and it helps a lot. And maybe drop it in your guild Discord as well. Maybe they'll like it too. Big thank you to Boris the Dragon and Caretaker for helping me in this video. I love y'all, and I will see you on the next Achievement Man.